DreamHack Open is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, MSI, and Monster Energy.
Final match of the day at DreamHack Open Fall and a chance to make it into the playoff upper bracket. Our eyes will be falling on FaZe and Godsent to see who can climb up the ladder in Group C. Of course, joining me, as always, Maniac and Maui. Maniac, we just got to see Fnatic placing second in their group. Now we get to see who's being taken second place in Group C. It's going to be exciting.
It is going to be, and I think a mistake would be to say that FaZe have it 100%. That's going to be a quick one. No. Godsent have shown a great showing in this tournament so far. They've pushed bigs against the ropes, 3-map with overtimes left and right. Now we have the video coming in. It's going to be a punished situation. I think Dust2 and Vertigo will not be played. That is both teams' natural vetoes. But then the pick become interesting, Maui. I think both teams could push the other on a very uncomfortable ground. I have Mirage in mind. I have maybe, not Mirage was the other one I was looking for. A Nuke, possibly. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think Mirage and Nuke are definitely going to be coming out. That's FaZe's home map now in Mirage, and Nuke is something that Godsent has been incredibly strong on really since their conception. So this is a pretty typical veto, but it looks like the decider would probably be a map that they're both comfortable on. Inferno is a map that they both have a pretty positive...
The absolute third map, yep. Inferno.
We'll see it
always.
Right down here.
There we go.
There it is, Inferno. So, yeah, and that's a map that both of these teams have shown a lot of promise on. Godsent has really pushed some teams on Inferno, and FaZe have done pretty well at the recent IEM New York tournament. So this should be a great series.
Well, speaking of FaZe, Frankie got a chance to check in with a lovely Brokey, so let's see what he had to say.
Brocky joins me now to chat about FaZe versus Godsent. But to be honest, what I really want to talk about is you on the AWP, Brocky, because it's been amazing watching your journey from CT-sided only to now picking it up on the T side. And I want to ask how your approach to playing the weapon has changed, because it used to be that you were described as being a very defensive player, but I've seen some flashy picks from you. So tell me about your approach.
I mean, before the player break, I didn't have much confidence with the app, but after the player break, it was like 1 month. I had some free time, I had to think about it, and I got my confidence back, and I'm just peaking everything.
And when it came to Kiyobi joining the team, it's obviously been a few events now, but still quite a short period of time. How did that affect you and your roles?
It didn't affect me really, it was just we played more and get used to him. Then we had to change code on Kirby, so Kirby could be more confident. And then we won the tournament, and now we're playing second tournament with him playing the role.
I do really appreciate you talking to me, so thank you for joining us, and good luck with the rest of the event.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Always fantastic to get to hear from Brokey ahead of their match. And Maniac, you were chatting about it just before the game, but it's been interesting to see how he's been developing as a player.
Absolute huge fan of Brokey. One of the best pickups of recent times in history of CSGO. A rookie, plays the secondary NWP, is impactful, has the ability to clutch, 1.1 rating, even though FaZe has been going up and down in terms of results. So Brokey, I got my money on him.
Well, on the other side of the server, it is going to be Godsent, and we got a few words from the legendary Devil Walk ahead of this one.
Devil Walk, thank you so much for joining me, and commiserations on your loss to Big yesterday. It was an incredibly close match, especially that final map. It sounds like basically Xantares should be the public enemy #1. of Godsent right now. So talk me through what happened.
It's heartbreaking. Obviously, they won and they kind of deserve it, but I still think we deserved the win. We played better as a unit. They had their individuals. They came through and were shining. So, you know, they picked up very scrappy rounds. And
Do you feel like Godsent are on the cusp of making it to the next level? Because you're always a team that's being discussed, but we don't necessarily see you pop up very often at these tier 1 events.
we just need to be a little bit sharper in advantageous positions and situations, and then we will get there, because our game plans are usually very solid. Sometimes we're a bit off sync, but we usually regain that sync in games and bring it really close. I also think that the online era is kind of bad for us, because every LAN we played before, we came top 4 in. I think if it was a LAN scenario, I think we would probably have pulled it off.
Thank you so much for talking to me, Devilwalk, and good luck against FaZe.
Thank you.
Fantastic words there from Devilwalk himself. Just quickly, Maui, if there's going to be a player that we're focusing on from the Godsent side, who is it going to be?
I've got to give it to Modern. It feels like anytime a game plan does not go accordingly for that Godsent side, it's Modern who comes out with huge clutches. And in that big series, Godsent won 10 total clutches. So I'm looking at Modern to come up big for them, and hopefully he can cement himself as one of the other best Bosnian players out there.
It's going to be an absolutely huge series to be rounding off our day here at DreamHack Open Fall. And it's my absolute pleasure to hand you over to our casters for this next best of 3. It's Yumi and T-Time.
Welcome in. It's time to see who can actually take it away. Godsent having their hearts broken, and a few of their fans, I'm sure, went right with them. Michael, Yumi, Cassidy on the microphone with me to help break things down. Michael, what are you feeling about this? I'm not too fond of this veto so far.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many ways this could have gone, and you go into territories where FaZe aren't going to be too uncomfortable moving into these maps. There's a world where, sure, Godsent could look good, but if FaZe come out the gate swinging, you know, they've had a couple of slow starts in some of their games. We see them losing maps against Seoul in their opening best of 3 in the group stage. Maybe there's a potential for them to get off to that slow start and Godsent could take advantage, or else, I could maybe see that 2-0 come out for FaZe.
Well, I mean, we saw FaZe being obliterated by Big on this very map where Nico was made a non-factor. The question is, who's going to be a factor here? And it starts off being Brokey. Gets himself a quick one. Modern, in the meanwhile, lurking behind the ticket box, hoping that he can get something in when they start to retreat from the bomb plant. But Rain is the spanner in the works. There's so much info, yes, but Modern knows he needs to start moving in as well. Rain can deny anyone coming through from the murder hole, and Modern only has one direction to go. He finds it first, but Colzera's traded. Colzera's got 2, and he's still fighting. He gets 3. Zen left in a 1v4.
Yeah, and Zen was just not a part of the action there for the retake. They had the kit in the smoke on Crystal, but they don't win out on the trades. And FaZe, that fast play towards A, they get into such great positions, not only to just deny rotations, but to hear where everybody is going on the side of Godsent and Cold. I mean, he's just in the middle of nowhere, but taking fights. 3 kills for him. FaZe taking the pistol in a very dominant fashion.
And it's great to see as well, because we had a few maps where Cold was, you know, freezing up a little bit. Not quite the hot hand that we sometimes see him have, but look at Spico. So aggressive, but he is punished. Rain knows that angle perfectly. He plays it himself, and Martin now with the Deagle. Fast pace into him they go. Kirby's got the kill, but Farlig's got 2 of his own. Cold and Kirby, both keeping control. Well, Zen creeps around these smokes, but Crystal, what a shot! Cold is starting off beautifully so far.
Yeah, and Zen's on 7 HP, so just saving the armor. I mean, you expect to see these second round force buys, even rounds where you maybe make arguments for them to just save, go for guns in follow-up rounds. They can find themselves into pretty precarious spots with just pistols. They relied on it pretty heavily in the game against Big, the one that was such a heartbreaking loss. They're not quite able to get that consistency going. Yeah, Cold off to a very strong start. This is a battle of 2 solid international teams. You know, we've got a diversity in terms of where all the players are from. If you count the coaches as well, that's 12 people. There's 11 nationalities represented.
Well, I mean, listen, it would make Pitbull proud any day of the week. Thank you, Mr. International. You were the one who paved the way for us to get to this level. Pitbull, we salute you. I mean, that is how CS history worked, right? That's exactly how it went. It wasn't anything like Crystal being the pioneer of international teams back in Penta back in the day. And that's something to keep in mind as Cold is getting his thinking hat on. We do have a bit of a timeout coming through. The one very important thing to keep in mind and maintain constantly is going to be that Godsent is essentially FaZe Clan Light. So either one of these teams have huge pop-off potential, but I have a bit of a feeling as we're going to see what's happening in the other game, NIP are actually being rocked a little bit. Sprout looking to maybe lean into 10 rounds on their nuke T side, and with the 2v2 going on, that could very well work in their favor. Now, the interesting thing to also keep in mind, though, is that Sprout have, of course, had a couple of their players performing incredibly well. You can see over towards the scoreboard, Dennis sitting on 11, but it's probably Snatchy and Diha who I want to see going into the CT sides, where obviously so much stronger. Meanwhile, though, back to FaZe and Godsent. I'm sure there's a bit more to talk about as we see the 2v1 play out on our screen, Michael.
And I mean, there are other casters over on the B stream. You know, you can go and check them out as well. They're going to be focusing on that game as we just find the conclusion of that clutch. We're just getting things started here in our Group C matchup. FaZe off to a good start. Cold, solid on these entry frags. You know, the spacing and the scaling to the sides has been effective. Godsent have been able to throw too many hiccups or speed bumps as they progress into sites. And we'll be delayed in seeing that further. Of course, it's just pistols out for Godsent. We have a Zeus in Crystal's hands, and he typically likes to throw over towards the B side of things, but no, he's gonna be in that tried and true position. Primarily a stack here from Godsent. They are trying to work for area denial, but FaZe are making short work of any sort of mid control.
And we saw this in their game versus Big as well, and Big was able to exploit it. FaZe love to take control over mid and then work the connector to go for a combined two-pronged hit on the A-bomb side. Cold, though, he's always that second prong, but Nico comes in first. Nice little kill for the MAC-10, just farming up some cash. Always good to have a bit of extra bank in the pocket later on. But Godsent, they don't care about bank, they care about bang for the buck, and they're not getting any out of it so far. Not much investment, but you still want to see at least a kill or two coming in. Those $300, they can matter. And well, Crystal, he's going to come through. That's the god of lightning right there. You'll love to see it.
Well, Crystal won't get anything else. Berkey does track him down. Farling's trying to be a little bit tricksy, so he finds Cold Zero clearing out A ramp. That's an A key that he can follow into the next round, and they shouldn't be able to track him down. Of course, they're going to look for the hunt. There's still some time for FaZe to investigate that. But stability in that T-side economy will be a big benefit for them moving forward. Of course, talked about how Godsent can be very effective on low buys. And they're not off to that slow start. Of course, winning the pistol will be that additional buffer. Oh no, Farley. Okay, he does get tracked down in the end. Kierby just at the tail end of the round. No AK brought forward for Godsent. Of course, they can still invest in rifles. Farley, AWP, like you would anticipate. And he, I think, will be a big focal point for us. I think both the Danes, for either side of the coin, being the most recent additions to the squad, will be huge emphasis points because confidence, implementation into the systems have been major points of criticism. And Farley's not going to start off the round well, burning down to 46.
And a lot of this will be down to Sneeko now as they start to move in. He smoked himself off, gives a better chance. Flashbang overhead as well, but FaZe is already skilled on his side, and he's gone down. Kirby to do the honors, while Farlig is next to follow. Rain from behind can decapitate, and now Godsent have to save. FaZe Clan just making short work and making Modern a head's height shorter. That is beautiful stuff coming out from FaZe. The way they're able to scale up and take control of the side is brilliant, especially when you consider that Godsent this time over seemed to be wary of that mid presence, and this is something we didn't really see coming up from FaZe to a large extent versus Big. We didn't see these fast-paced plays out onto the A-bomb site through A main. Largely, again, it was mostly a connector showdown more often than not.
Yeah, this is setting a really unhealthy precedent here for Godsent, that they cannot rely on their A-side hold, so even if FaZe start putting more emphasis on middle control, don't expect them to meet the other side of it. Kirby, even Molotoving out Crystal, they get nothing. Kirby going down to the flames of Nico. Or sorry, the other way around. Nico does hurt the scoreline of Gary ever slightly, but a round win is a round win. They will be happy with that. Strong stuff. Very minimal casualties in these rounds as well, so they are starting to accrue cash on that T side that... Oh, we talk about the pistols. Godsent on them. Some armor surrounding it. Not as much utility as you maybe like to see in mid to late round situations if they get themselves into some sort of an advantageous spot.
Then struck out the nade, doesn't do too much damage, but here you start to wonder what exactly is going to be the game plan for Godsent later on. We know that on Mirage, more often than not, their game plan is sometimes very much mod and go kill. Speaking of mod and go kill, Rain was perhaps given the same command. However, he sees a deagle, shies away from it, and lets Crystal take point. But Modern, go kill Modern! Go kill Modern! Yes! He's got it out, and they've got 3. Suddenly, everything's going wrong for FaZe Clan, but Coldzera's still alive, and that's something very, very right. Needs to get out the ace flush if they want to win this, but that's not possible. Zen, with the stolen off, will steal the round as well, and it all comes out from Modern go kill.
I don't know how they get so much consistency on these pistols. They just find themselves in such great spots. And I mean, that seems just to be a gap in the game plan. That's actually something that we've criticized FaZe in the past for the defaults. Gabby just setting up for nades. You know, he does have somebody with him, but there's nobody clearing out the underpass. That's something that we thought they'd ironed out. We didn't see it too much in the group stage. So we're seeing a different look for FaZe. They're going for faster plays overall. They're going back to some of their older styles of default. And they're punished for it in that round.
And this is also where you start to wonder how much did that loss to Big rattle them? Because there were a lot of situations where you were thinking, yeah, FaZe should start to win this. FaZe did make a very solid comeback back into it, but then tabseN was just dominating Nico in aim duel after aim duel, but domination will now come through from Farley as Coldzera finally seems to be losing some of those duels as well. He will fall, and in the meanwhile, FaZe still don't have the bomb, so Zen finding damage here would be big, but instead he's been damaged. Kirby takes him down, and they will go back, retrieve the bomb, and an ace-side hit might be what's on the cards, but it all comes down to what Kirby can find and get done over towards apartments. Rain, the same is true for him and Connector.
Silence on the map. Just the one flash thrown to the B apartments. That's thrown a bit more of a head spinner in for Godsent. They rotated Farley in to support Crystal. Meanwhile, FaZe regrouping towards Palace. It's going to be a pincer towards A. That's what they're lining up for. Modern is still close A ramp, so it's another angle that FaZe will have to be worried about approaching the site. They should recognize that.
20 seconds and still no rotations coming in. Stiko seems to be very, very wary of Connector, but Rain's not going to be the immediate hit. He's going to be the second prong of assault. Rain might even get the timing, but Stiko turns around in time. 10 seconds, and now it's all about Modern. The Molotov is there to keep him blocked out. The bomb will be planted because of it. But Modern is still around the corner and in Brokey's head, going for more as he peeks out, but he's just providing a distraction for the rest of the CTs to come in from behind. Kirby and Nico trying to fight back, but already Kirby is down and Nico's left alone. He's the man you want to have, but does he have what it takes? Nico starts off well, gets the first, but he's revealed his position, and now they're in hot pursuit. But the heat is on, and Nico is the man to bring the fire. Looking for the kill, but can't get it. They're pre-firing, and the Deagle will come out on top. FaZe Clan, they may be delayed a bit too much. Maybe you can call it timing for Stiko to turn around then as well. But at the end of the day, when there's 20 seconds left on the clock, there's just so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah, and that's the critical kill. There's nobody that can trade Rain out, so that duel towards Connector makes things so much easier for players like Madden to stay alive for so much longer. There's Stiko's angle they need to be concerned of. They Molotov'd out Madden's position, so I'm surprised they weren't more aware that that was a possibility. Brokey came out with a pistol.
Shout out to AZS. I think he's the one who's doing these. Obviously, it's AZS doing these, man. Like, I might be wrong about that, but I'm sure we'll have someone tell us in our ear if I am. That being said, though, timeout coming in from FaZe Clan. Godsent, on the other hand, have not gone for the double op setup. I really appreciate that, honestly. Sorry, slip of tongue. They have gone for the double ops setup. And the reason why I really like this is because Godsent's double ops are very specific in the sense that they pull them out when the secondary player just feels like it. This is something we've talked to the Godsent players about. This is very, very often more of a feel-based call rather than an overall structural decision. And that means in the hands of someone like Modern or Zen, you can have an amazing highlight round because you know they're feeling confident. And that's what we're really hoping for at this stage. Zen's playing from short with that secondary op, but Crystal's actually going to be the one to take first contact. Kirby going in, he's been tagged up and slowed down. The Mac-10, however, still in hot pursuit. Going forward, he's got full control, but Rain's the one to find the first.
Yeah, they give them the site. They don't play within it. And so it's an easy scaling here for FaZe. The fact that they find a kill as well. Oh, Crystal, if you'd fired off a shot, you may have found some healthy results. And oh dear, utility, the flash. Okay, they're already sort of backing off. But if Crystal had found one, they may have doubled back, thought about it once more. Kirby, long distance to Mac-10. Shake your way to a frag, my friend. It's really difficult. 13 HP. That distance with the Mac, it would have been a couple more bullets, but Crystal, although he's received quite a lot of damage, quite a few bullets in the back of his torso, he should be able to get away with this one. It's still a one round for FaZe.
I somewhat regret bending the narrative of Zen's confidence now, considering he's just playing from the back of Market, playing from the door over there. He really needed to find that kill, but I don't know if we can get a replay of Rain or not, but that was a fantastic shot to be coming through. He just jumped out onto the van, got a shot straight down into the skull of Zen, and with that, the round was lost. Zen, his entire purpose in that position is to stop them from crossing over the bench. That's the only way they actually have some sort of an ability to retake in that space. But FaZe, still up 5, but Godsent obviously with 4 players kept alive and 2 ups, they're perfectly fine economically.
Then a little one-way towards middle, so Rain's been taken out of the round early. Stiko, the position in Palace, coldzera loses the duel, so they keep that man advantage ever slight, even with the dismissal of Zen. FaZe only have middle to work off of. They need to be worried about the potential for a flank as well. Stiko could have over-pushed from that position. There's still so much time on the clock, so many options available primarily for the CT side to work off of. Nico, ooh, duel presented, but he doesn't clear out Madden, so it's just Kirby with an AWP in hand. You know, maybe a rifle, I would have given it to him. The potential to pull this one off. The AWP, not exactly his most proficient weapon. Oh, he's given the head, and Stiko lingers a little too long.
Listen, Kirby's always had decent first bullet accuracy, and with an AWP, last I checked, you only need 1 bullet. So, you know, maths checks out. Just saying, Michael. They say never do maths on broadcast. They lied. I can do it. I'm great. Fantastic that way.
Yeah, your highlight has been there was a 1 damage nade, I think, on a map we casted on Nuke, and you said 280 damage. It came out to about 287. So
there you go. But right now the question is, how much damage can Kirby do? 287 isn't quite the number he needs, but Kirby is brought down before he can look for the 279. Third round on the board for Godsent. Nicely done off the back of initial pick coming out from Zen. But what's really interesting over here is that you can see FaZe has actually reverted back to how they were playing ESL Pro League in their defaults. Because that was when Nico was very heavily relying on getting himself in towards short ladder. Ever since then, they actually changed their default significantly to have a slower mid take, but then go in and focus on connector instead. So I really have a feeling that the big game really messed with their confidence. But look at this again. Oh, he's already there. Are they expecting this? Nico will be able to find the first, but Fardig is right around the corner. So the trade should be possible, and he's pulled out. The Deagle peeks into him, but Nico says no before being denied. Stiko to take him down. 2 players still on this B-bomb side. Now it's just 1, but Zun is almost enough. Stiko left alone, and he will have to save. There's still enough money on the CT side to buy, but what a round from Nico.
And that's kind of best case scenario. Martin is sitting in the smoke. He's lining up nades towards top mid, and so he misses the timing. Doesn't expect that will be the play that Nico goes for. Of course, we understand that that's something that they would have implemented before, but maybe reverting back to that older style, Godsent just don't anticipate it. Typically Rain's with Nico. If they're working the map a little slower, you know, you'll typically see Rain take the closer ranged angle, go towards bottom connector, flash it, be a bit more methodical in their approach. But the fast B pincer, and it's all catalyzed by Nico. Exactly
Some
what the doctor
fantastic
ordered.
stuff. Yep. And the other thing to also keep in mind as we look at the other game again, where Sprout is right about to kick some ninjas out of a server, it seems like. Pretty poor buy, actually, from the ninjas as well. If you look over with the utility, they've got almost none off it, though. 120 in, I'm sure they've used some of it as well. And if you want to check that out, you can go over to twitch.tv/DreamHackCS2. But that would be a bad decision, because you want to see what happens between FaZe and Godsent, don't you? And right now, FaZe is again setting up for a faster paced play with Nico left and Lurk on mid. This is exactly what they were running on ESL Pro League. Farlig, though, he might be aware, but the flashbang will force him back, and now he can't scope out without giving his position away. Stiko gets the first kill with the Molotov. Martin helps out with a flashbang to make sure that they can't actually see that they're being burnt, but Coldzera is unseen, is unheard, and is just a specter of death.
There was a part of me really wondering how Farlig was staying alive for so long. He was in an awkward position atop the ladder. There's a Molotov at his feet. He's running all around the site. Didn't think he'd get shot through a smoke by Cold, but that's certainly one way to punish.
It was a very well-timed flashbang from London, though, to anti-flash FaZe clan.
You can see they're reading into how Godsent like to play out the late rounds as well. Like, we've seen Stiko push a ramp to try and get an advantage, see if they can get more information as to where FaZe are going, but still playing very far back.
Now come that smoke.
Though.
Yeah, and the smokes are coming out. Rotation need to be here soon enough. Stiko's found the first, not a weapon he is famous for, but he will make it work nonetheless. Martin looking and hoping to push through a smoke from Palace into Palace rather, and Coldzera will fall. Certainly a 4v2 with the nades still available on Crystal as he makes his rotation over. He is going to be able to chuck that out towards default, but before that even happens, Martin's found another one. Stiko peeks into Nico, and that'll be all she wrote. 4th round on the board for Godsent. Really nice stuff from them. I really appreciate these rounds that Godsent are able to get, because so much of it comes down to the patience to reset, back up, and trusting your players who are on the side holding it. You're not over-rotating. You're not saying, quick, guys, it could be an A-side hit. Oh, no, run back. We've seen that from a few teams.
Well, the tendency was still there for Godsent, but instead of pushing for information over at A, they go to the place of least resistance. The B side of the map seemingly untouched. Zen, as they were pulling that execute, did allow for a bit of a faster rotation there from Godsent, but just hitting the shots they needed to. Martin with the kill through the smoke. Just enough. Now you can see a scrappy buy-in from FaZe. Only a couple rifles out. That's been entrusted in Kirby and Nico's hands.
This is dangerous. Nico's already been given a pathway in, and you know, the second he's been given too much space, you are so worried. We've completely given up the CT spawn on the Godsent side, but FaZe clan, they are just angling for connector. Nico's hoping to catch off a few players and rotate, and there's 3 players on B, so he could be very, very powerful.
Martin spotting them top connected, but Brokey, what a shot. Stiko in a hot seat. He lines them up, but he cannot knock them down. But again, it's the pistols here for FaZe that are finding the entries. Godsent do get one back on Farley, but Nico's cut off the rotations. They're not rushing the bomb plant. They know that they can cut Godsent out of this round if they just play it patient. They spot out Zen as well, and they're looking for another angle. Kjerby trying to intercept, but Zen reads into it. That may be a mistake. Farlig as well, chiming through with the AWP. If he spams rain, he's low, and he could go down, but Nico covers him from up high, from stairs. FaZe a 7.
And that still got so close. Zen, if he just won that one extra duel, that would have been in their favor. You can see that FaZe clan start off beautifully, but even so, that could have gone very, very wrong. Nico, a couple of good frags, and what a tap to end it as well. Love to see it. FaZe clan, though, another timeout. We've seen a lot more of these early on already. Wow. Now, the money on Godsent isn't fantastic, but it's at that precarious point where, you know, you're late into a half, your loss bonus is really poor as well. And speaking of poor losses, well, that's a poor loss that you'll see right here. Ninjas in Pajamas getting absolutely destroyed, 16-6. Sprout will be able to win that one out. Wow. Still could be potentially 2 more games to go, so don't count the Ninjas out if you are a fan of those. I know there's probably a few of those sitting in our production room with the good old Swedish camaraderie, but hey, right now, you've got a Swedish coach for Godsent, so maybe there's some hyping and cheering going on for that as well.
Yeah, channel all that national pride into one person. And who better than Devilwalk? Legend of the game.
Winner of the first ever major. Martin is the one wielding the AWP, not Farley this time, and he is hoping that someone just creeps close to him. He just wants a shotgun, hit anyone down, while he's waiting for Nico to maybe go through, and he will be gifted that. He hears them, but the smoke actually could be massive. Martin and Zen have a bit of a crossfire, but now it's all about Stico. He sees Coldzera, and does he realize there's another one? Doesn't even need to realize he's gone away to safety, and Zen has found Rain in the meanwhile. Stico flashes over, nicely done. Kirby's spot out, and Stico doesn't peek in until it's too late. Kirby will find the duel, and Farleg's forced into action. Pushes forward across his smoke, which is laid down to have more maneuverability, but Martin's the one to tag through a wall. Kirby will not fall. Brokey connects with Martin, leaving just Crystal and a 1v3 that is doable, but not easily so. Nico coming in from his side. Does he realize it will peek outwards? And as he crosses, Nico's heard it, given the information over, and Kirby will finish him off. 8th round on the board for FaZe Clan.
And that round looked like it was shaping up to be a Godsent win. Even with the limited investment around those rifles that they brought through, it didn't seem as though FaZe were going to be able to pull that one back, but some solid frags in response. You see Kirby, solid pathway, taking spawn control as well. They knew where Crystal was coming from. Let's start out with a very quick 5v3 into 2v1, which is unideal for Godsent. They only have so many times that they can win on these pistols, surely. Rain is cleaning up a few in middle. Nico as well to support.
Now, let's not forget, Godsent did have a pretty poor CT side versus Big as well. They were down 4-11. They brought it back on their terrorist side with some heroics from Zen, with some heroics from Martin. But right now, Stico's looking on to put on a cape. But unfortunately, he hasn't seen the Incredibles. Gets swept away into a fan and gets absolutely destroyed.
Oh, those are probably the most heartbreaking plays to witness, because he could have brought it closer, taken a rifle, started to reposition. He would have had some space to work off of. A sigh of relief for FaZe
panic that starts to build in internally. He's like, oh no, I missed it first. I've got to get this thing. I have to. And then it's just compounding and compounding. But does it go into the next round? As they're actually leading forward into a nice little charge. But the flashbang's good. Rain, however, has been brought down. Brokey trades, but he's only got an op, so he has to re-peek out. He still gets it done. A nade is good, but where he was, not where he is. Still a 3v3. Not utility. You know, utility not really there for the side of Godsent. And they have to rely on sheer firepower, which is slightly scary, but Coldzera should maybe be the one with the heebie-jeebies, as he does get tagged down, both himself and Brokey fairly low, and that could be the difference maker, along with a flank from Stico. Look at Crystal's position, though. He's thinking of creeping up towards B short, and he'll do that because Martin wants to be the one defending from market, but Brokey, he's expecting this perhaps, but he's not got the timing. Stico will hear it. Stico will find it, and the bomb with it. Smoke goes out as well. That'll give him a little bit of an awkward one-way, maybe. I don't actually know how that one works. I've never seen that before, but Crystal. On the angle, but can he get the kill? No, he can't. Coldzera. Oh, yes, he can. Never mind.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I was going to say Crystal should have had the advantage in that duel, but it seemed like Gold got the drop on him initially. Surprised he comes away with that one. But that's the type of play that you expect to see from the players like Stikos. A bit more leadership, seems to have a very strong voice within Godsent. When they're in these situations that seem so hectic, that don't seem as though they're going to have a firm read on what FaZe are doing, he's the one that typically takes initiative. Make sure that everyone else is a little bit more comfortable, takes the round in the palm of his hands. That late flank really caught FaZe off guard. Now a play quick towards A. Stico there on the entry, Kirby to trade. And there's a little bit more resistance than they expect. Martin does get one just before all of those smokes bloom, but FaZe can dial it in.
Well, he's dialed in the bomb, yes, but can they dial it in onto the CT side? Still a bit of utility left, much better position to be in than they were in the last round, and even that was a win for them. Godsent looking and searching for their 6th, but The main man to prevent will be called Zera. He's so aggressively far forward and he's been punished already. Brokey on the AWP has been found as well, leaving just Nico. 1 versus 4. Smoke is down as well. He's peeked out. They haven't seen him yet, but now they will. Crystal finds him and destroys him. 6th round on the board for Godsent, and we'll be going to a quick break. When we're back, it's time to see whether they can keep this momentum going on the terrorist side. Four rounds was all they needed yesterday. Godsent have found 6, but FaZe Clan have come in. Sunglasses on, problems gone. The question is, can Godsent do it on their T side, or are Nico and company going to be proving to be a bit too much for them to handle?
Well, we'll see if they get it done on the CT side. They're just shy of double digits. Oh, Nico, what a start to the round. Rain as well will find one, but Madden's there on the response. Rain just sitting on the site, still buying time for these rotations to come, and they can't track him down so easily. Oh my goodness, how is he dodging for so long? Down to a 2-on-2, and Godsent still yet to get a firm foothold on the site. They know where these players are here from FaZe, and they're getting caught out in the open, but again, it's a 1-for-1 exchange. Kirby in the clutch, Madden on the other side. There's a kit available and a smoke as well for Kirby.
And Kirby has to get it all done over here. Martin 2 creeping around. The 1v1 will decide so much. And Kirby, he's about to get the timing, but he doesn't look at the right angle. And now Martin's got a chance to sneak right out. He's gone over to Tetris. Kirby is going in, but he's not sticking it. Martin was worried, and no longer so. He's going to come around the corner, around the default box. Does Kirby realize this? But Kirby, he's trying to use this as a one-way. Can he see Martin from over the smoke? That is the question. Martin about to get the sightlines, but he backs off and said, Martin's playing this so well, but Kirby has himself the angle, fires straight through the roof of scaffolding, and he will have the defuse. The smartest man in the world. Of course he's a Dane. Of course he is.
And the cheeky little smile at the end as well, because he could spot the feet, but it wasn't an angle that it would favor Madden in the clutch. I mean, it's an unpredictable angle to be in a 1 versus 1, but he just gets the drop on him, taking that high ground.
For both players as well. Like, I thought Madden had outplayed him. I thought that, Kirby never expects this, but then, out of nowhere, there you go. And so that's why you always say, never doubt a Dane. 143 and Nico's ready for Zen's aggression in. Zen, however, with the Tech 9, could come out on top over here. If Nico starts to push through, that'll be problematic. And Zen, does he realize there's another man right around the corner? Yes, he does, and he doesn't find him. Coldzera is dinked. Well, that is just a head massage for him. Cole is still fighting up. This is Crystal. Has been tagged right back down to 10, while Martin will maintain advantage for the terrorist side. Advantage that is purely numeric, though, HP-wise, not really there. And even numeric is going to be lost as Crystal will go down. Martin, however, has crept past already up from Connector, and now it's all Kirby and Coldzera left in the 2v3.
Kirby has the potential to grab them on the cross. Martin as well as a gap in the smoke. Oh, they haven't spotted each other. Kirby just catching a glimpse. He seems to adjust his crosshair, but Martin also realizes cold, all that's left. And a 1v3 with this HP, it's not seeming likely. There is a kit in his path, so at the very least that could be recovered, but Godsent, you can see they're giving him respect. There's a hairline angle being held from Zico at a distance, and he takes the fight. He just wants Coldzera out of the round. Godsent, they lose the pistol, but they come back swinging in the second round. They are so good at converting these second rounds, and it all came down to the play from Underpass and these kills from Martin. He just locks down Connector.
Legend says that Martin's real name when he started off the game was Made in Olympus, because this man is godly. I've been saving that one for a while.
Where you're reading all these facts from, because I am not subscribed.
Hey, AZS isn't the only one with facts over here, okay? Godsent and FaZe Clan, but Nico, ooh, that's a tickle party he didn't want to be invited to, but will still be joining the stack on the A-bomb site. Now, Godsent seem to be well aware of the possibility. They're playing very spread out, similar to how they were actually playing on CT side as well. Godsent do like to let their players have some more freedom. Once the first 30 or so seconds have elapsed, that is generally Crystal's MO. Get some great players, make them better, and then let them do what they want to. It's fate that's hard to have, but it might be misplaced as they seem to be going over towards A.
Stack is for FaZe. This is the thing with their CT setups. They put so much emphasis on mid on their T side, but CT is a whole different story. They typically leave it wide open. Rain gonna lose the first duel. Stico as well does get his bell rung, but he finds the frag nonetheless. KRB still on the site. It is predominantly a stack, but it's being picked apart one by one because they cannot support one another on these fights. And Nico, he has to back away. There's surely no feasible chance of them chiming back into the round, but Cold, he still goes for a little bit of a peek. He's gambling with his life ever so slightly. Nico's on the other side of the map. He wanted nothing to do with this.
Godsent have found themselves this 8th round, and they've done so beautifully despite seemingly having made the incorrect decisions, but turns out if you just kill people, the incorrect decisions suddenly look pretty okay. Nico is hoping to take from that philosophy over here and get some exits as he does get spotted out. There's a player jumping around, and now that they know where Nico is, they are likely to avoid him. Very little reward to actually take him down. You don't even have a Mac 10 or anything on those lines. Just no point losing your armor, is there? Godsent will find the 8th round, and very soon are likely to be able to angle for the 9th as well, with FaZe's economy being as poor as it is. This is exactly what you are afraid of if you're a fan of FaZe Clan. I'm not actually sure which player that was. I think that was Modern. Yes, I think that's Modern.
That's Crystal.
Oh, sorry. Of course. My bad.
I'm like, wait a second. Are you kidding me right now? Yeah, that's Crystal. Iconic
it's
man.
It's computer lighting, man. It's a computer. He is indeed. Now, Farlig. Ooh. Looking into its mid, but the Farmus is not what finds a kill. It is, in fact, Crystal, the icon himself, and his grenade, while Martin is just getting some bullets in as well, making sure Nico is afraid. Now, let's also not forget that a lot of this map will, on the CT side of FaZe, come down to Nico and his duels. We know that he loves to play around connector, and he loves to take control of window as well, all on his own. Yeah. So he takes so much responsibility, and he is the man to give it to, but at the same time, sometimes he does get it given to him. And that is when FaZe starts to crumble. Rain right now, nice little shots from the USP, does get some damage and a kill, but no more than that.
Damage, the primary focus here for FaZe. See, they're all holding the line deep spawn. If anybody from Godsent, it's a little too overzealous, especially with Madden on such low HP. He could fall victim to a body shot here from Nico. It would do all the same. Shadow to give up the first kill. Nico, oh, okay, he's not going to swing. I thought he was going to take advantage of that, but... Oh, just good old bait and nothing. No switch whatsoever. So Godsent now knocking on the door of double digits. A good old smile for the side as they're really recovering this T side half. This is after they concede that pistol round. And I'm telling you, they've made some kind of deal with the devil. I'm working on a theory that the amount of times they win on low buys or scrappy buy rounds against teams, they'll make you question whether the team you support actually has solid anti-ecos.
They've set up for a very fast take for ladder room, actually, but they're not going for it. It's just the smokes to make coldzera feel a little bit worried, and coldzera loves to play this angle. Nade goes in, it's deep, it's good, but it's not great. Kirby's been tagged up enough to feel a little bit threatened, but right now what's interesting is that you've got 3 players angled towards the B bomb site. Broky's playing for short. coldzera loves to play from ladder room, and we know that already, but it seems to be a hit towards that A side potentially, but this would be the worst possible way to do it. There are 2 players already on short. Nico's in a position where he can bear down connector as well. This is so difficult, and it'll all come down to whether Stiko can find the initial kills on the A bomb site or whether coldzera will be the one to really come through and destroy it over here. Now, they do seem to expect this. This is a play he loves to go for, and I'm sure that Crystal's done his research.
Oh, research or not, the movement's not quite there for Godsent, so information gained here for FaZe. Of course, they have a pretty solid setup to deal with an A-side pincer. And it's off of that they start moving back towards B. They see the reaction, Cold not getting dropped by Farlig as he thought he had the upper hand. Now it just has to be a commitment. 3 players grouping up into the apartment.
They're rotating.
30 seconds left.
They're rotating. Stiko sold this. Stiko sold it!
Oh my days.
Oh no! Brokey now has to do so much, and the flashbang will prevent him from finding the bomb before it's transported over. Nico, at the very least, does find Stiko, and with this, it's a 3v5. Yes, the advantage is there, but Kirby's the one who is delivering on it. It's now down to just 1, and Zen can't do anything but go for damage. The flashbang might give him a bit more space as he's crept forward and is going around towards the empty pillar. Now, Brokey going down would be absolutely massive. FaZe Clan have had so many economically difficult rounds that even if they win this one, they have to be careful about Brokey's life, and he has lost it. Zen now with another flashbang, chucked out, but it gives away his position, and Rain comes in from behind, knowing that he's not turned around and is not aware of the apartment's player. 11th round on the board for FaZe Clan, but that was very sketchy from Godsent. However, at the end of the day, good damage done at least.
Yeah, dangerous stuff. Of course, you can see we have a little bit of a picture-in-picture of the other stream. That's on Mirage as well. So if you weren't happy with the dosage you're getting here, there's another stream, of course. So this has really been in the heat up. I mean, that gets very worrying for FaZe because they almost make an incorrect rotation. Fortunately for them, because they had Brokey on the AWP, he sat down to anchor the site, bought a bit more space for Kirby as well. They're a lot more proactive with Kirby on rotations on this DT side. Something that has differed from Pro League. Cold, under a lot of pressure, but he does a good job of circumnavigating utility in ladder room primarily, and he still finds ways to sit in that position going unchecked.
Cold's one of the best players to watch if you want to know how to not be moved away from ladder room. And although he does back off at this point, it's more because the CTs are content with Rain's position. It's such a hard angle to spot. Stiko is checking for it, but it will not matter. Rain still comes out on top. And with this, he's found information to boot. 4 players inside middle is lovely to have. You've got full control over it. But when you've lost any sort of a fake, option on A, when you've lost any sort of a double prong attack option in A because you can't actually retake Palace, this becomes a whole lot harder.
I wonder how much of that was just Rain having a good spawn for that position. Typically, it'll be Nico, the man you put emphasis on. You'd highlighted him before as man who typically takes initiative on the CT side. And look at the timing for Nico. That's perfect. Zen's gone.
And with Zen's demise, Nico's looking for more, but a Molotov at his feet will reveal his position. Martin will have to peek out, and he does so, but Nico has intercepted. He's got it done beautifully. So 4 kills to his name, and he says, this is my game, this is my map. How dare you challenge me?
Jeez, what a lockdown over at A from Nico. They all line up as they emerge from the connector. Nico just keeps fighting, lines up the spray, and that's the round done and dusted. Sure, Godsent recovered on their T side to start, but now that FaZe have got themselves into these premium rifles, they get the AWP out as well. It hasn't been the AWP that's had the most impact. It has been just the rifles, but they're playing a slightly different setups as a result, and it's working out wonderfully. Execute towards A for Godsent.
Rain is looking to intercept. Already good damage dealt, and Crystal should be falling. Indeed, he does. Dink is there, yes, but Rain is still going. How does he dare with this little HP? We'll never know. But what we do know is that Godsent have lost 3 players already. And although they get 1 in return, it doesn't seem like it'll matter too much. Brokey, very weak. Will back off and let the rest of his team start to pick up the dirty laundry around them. These players can back off and try and find some more space towards another side of the map, but space can be found. Advantages will be slightly more difficult. Now, if they can get over to B fast enough, maybe you can set up with that 1 smoke and the Molotov that Martin have. But again, that's assuming they don't. See, this is the problem as well. They're slowing down so much. And FaZe Clan are, interestingly enough, not even cheating 1 player over. They're also not getting aggressive to check for information. They're so worried. And by the time they start to move, Seiko should be down in the site unless he spends too much time clearing these angles. And it seems like that's exactly what's happened. They've not had faith in themselves. They've not had the confidence. But Kirby's gone down. Stiko and Martin will be tagged up slightly. Martin more than Stiko, but the bomb's down. Brokey's low. Brokey could be brought apart, and Stiko has caught the angle, the timing, but he can't get the kill. Stiko still unable to take down Brokey. And with this, they have to be careful of the short player. Stiko pulls out a nade. This is not working out in his favor. Martin wants to peek out with a flashback, but Martin's found Brokey. Stiko's peeking in as well. Corsair and Nico. These are the 2 players you want to have. Nico will find 1 more. Stiko in a 1 versus 2. Tries to find them. Nice little tap is present from him. He's now waiting for Nico. Comes in! Takes it home! Stiko, the beast!
I can't believe they pulled that off. Stop pulling out utility, man. We saw it from both sides. Making me incredibly nervous. I mean, you hold that angle with the AWP. Stiko is gone, but he stays alive. He pulls up clutch for Godsent, and they call a timeout. My question for FaZe, you know, you hold down the A bomb site. You don't rotate for such a long time. Why do you begin to separate and give them the duels that Godsent are looking for?
And they throw away the blind man's advantage. They throw away the fact that Rain was able to get those first 2 kills with his aggression, and they somehow lose it out. It even seemed like Godsent had made the mistakes, but Stiko with that initial kill, he opens up so much space in the bomb site, and despite him not being able to find that one onto Brokey, he still makes it happen. He still makes it work. Beautifully done as well. And against Coldzera and Nico.
Yeah.
Coldzera and Nico.
Things were really looking good for FaZe in that round as well. Questionable rotations or lack thereof coming back to haunt them. Brokey does still get the AWP in this round, and he's being entrusted to lock down the A site. He does have Rain backing him up a little deeper through spawn so he can spot through the site. Brokey doesn't have to challenge that wide-facing angle, but he's being trapped in a position where he could get utility out of this spot, and Crystal almost takes him down. Rain bailing Brokey out.
Oh, but Stiko will still get the kill. He is feeling it right now. Rain switches up for the AWP, is hoping to find maybe a gap in that smoke, or maybe even just back off. And that has to be the call. FaZe Clan don't have much utility. You don't have a flashbang on anyone but Kirby. Going in at this point would be a travesty, but seems like they'd still like to make sure that if there's anyone in pursuit, they can at least get exits. And one thing that's been interesting, as Rain does end up backing off, one thing that's been really interesting actually is they have very consistently not been breaking this murder hole vent. And I think some of that comes down to the fact that we saw Zen yesterday exploiting that so consistently, where he's able to just silently get into the window room and climb through. FaZe Clan know that they don't put the most emphasis on the mid, so they decide to just let that vent stay unbroken. It's an interesting decision.
I think there was an interview as well for Nika. When I saw Rain pick up the AWP, I got a little bit worried. It's like, who's the worst AWPer? And, you know, Rain has really good aim, and he's like, yeah, I think it has to be Rain. He picks up the AWP, it's just like, chuck it to somebody else, please. They do save it over, though. He doesn't have to take too many fights. Ooh, they're jumping into the Molotov. Not going to take as much damage, massive. But the spread forces Kirby back down, and Martin's found a kill elsewhere. That's through middle.
That is a perfect read as well, because Kirby and coldzera always like to have a player on balcony if they're not going to have too much utility to work around with. So the Molotov coming out early on, that's perfectly done. They make sure that FaZe Clan now have to feel so much more uncomfortable actually creeping up, because Zen is around that corner. Sure, Zen's not peeking indirectly, but again, discomfort will be perpetual. Smoke comes out towards top middle. Nico still is actually already past, not top middle, sorry, top connectors. Nico is already past it though, so not the biggest of deals. Now,
they can
Kirby will get some...
Yeah, they can lead towards B here. I mean, look at how far Rain's pushed up.
And Kirby already has information that they're given over steps, so they're not rotating. coldzera now is waiting. He's burning, and he's been brought down. Kirby, though, can't say the same for him. 3 kills to his name, and back down to a 2v2. It wouldn't be a Godsent round if it wasn't a clutch, and it's their time to try and bring it back in slightly more even scenarios. Sparling will go down, and Crystal, not the man for the job. But can he do it anyway? He's a temporary plumber, but maybe he can fix these leaks. Nico and Rain coming through. Crystal jumps up, and he's going to have to throw that flashbang over. It goes completely awry. He can't get it done, and now it's just trying to go for a bomb plant. No time to work with. Rain scouted him out as well, and Crystal just tries to get some damage, just tries to get the kill. He'll have to go down, and is it after time? Yes, it is. Ooh.
Yeah, that is unideal. What a job. What a great job from Kirby. Just remaining in movement, making sure to deal with the initial players that Godsent are trying to get out to create space for the rest of the squad. Each and every duel. Fast with the FAMAS. Even while he was heavily handicapped in the round. You saw how much damage the Molotov did, and there's a peek from Brokey. Very rarely do FaZe put emphasis on middle control, but Brokey getting that initial line, they may investigate that further. They know that that will be weakened now for Godsent.
Modern still around the corner. Godsent. Honestly, I probably favor them more in 2v5 than I do in 4v5s, which is so weird to say. Modern, however...
Deal with the devil.
It's true. Will his spider senses be switched on or not? Rain has been found. Modern is the one to do it, and there's no one actually in short, so they can't punish him over. Modern's still wary of it though, as he moves back just to make sure, and the rest of his teammates are now put up to the test. Nico will be the examiner though, as he's looking to maybe go through that smoke, or at least spray through it. However, he himself has been tagged up. Crystal fakes as if he's going over towards connector, and Crystal's gonna start to go through the smoke instead. He's so careful, he's so wary. Does he realize Kirby's around the corner? No, he doesn't. Now back to a 3v4. Stiko's got a deagle, would love to see it come into action, but Farleg's off is even more important. He doesn't find the kill, and Martin is good for 1, and that's not enough. Stiko left alone. 1v3, we've seen him pull off a colossal clutch. Can he do it again? He's got the peak and some tag damage, but he can't get the kill. And with this, Stiko will have to back off, try and save that armor perhaps. And while he backs off, he will have to forfeit the round. Is this going to be an eco for Godsent to let FaZe take 15?
I mean, it'll have to be. Look at the economy for Godsent, not in a great spot. 3k is about the max that they're mustering into this one. Of course, we wouldn't be shocked to see a half investment, maybe a little lower than some teams would typically go for.
They did it yesterday as well versus Big.
Yeah, we pulled into question several times. Just why are you impeding on a potential gun round by investing into it, and then they win the round. So, I mean, our point is null and void. But FaZe, I mean, that round really felt like it hinged a lot on how much priority Nico was taking away from Crystal as well. Just enabling Kirby to find kills around that smoke. Really solid bait done by him. We'll see what Godsent can bring into the round, or else this becomes 15. Oh, we may just have a small tech issue. Yeah, I'm hearing a couple of rattles, so...
We're hearing the tick, 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 tick,
yeah,
tick,
the
tick,
pulse keeps on coming. We'll get to look more at the players. Oh, yeah. Just what I like.
Well, listen, man, it gives us a bit more time to talk about a few other interesting things about that round as well. In particular, what I thought was curious was that Modern actually goes over, and once he's taking the posture for B short, he then swings out towards the middle of mid, and he kind of hovers around there. And while we hover around this particular angle, you get to see another one as well. There's a pause too over on Ninjas in Pajamas versus Sprout. They're going in sync with us, guys. We're soulmates.
Yeah, it does seem like they're answering back fairly well on their own map pick in Mirage. Sprout on the back burner.
Money is actually pretty bad for Sprout as well. So this will be a very difficult one, especially considering the Sprout has quite a strong double op setup. I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, they're buying. Are they? Oh, because they're half buying around Falvin.
Hero op?
Yeah, so the hero op is something that I actually think the hero op in a situation like this is something I think is a little bit more viable, even though I'm sure Maui Snake in the green room is about to tell me I'm wrong. But it's still the fact that you can angle yourself to save this so much more effectively as long as it gets a kill or two, and maybe you have a few players behind it. Even if you show off a stack around the op, more often than not, teams will just try to avoid the stack. So if you get a pick off with the op, maybe there's a gun you can pick up, something like that. The priority in rounds like this is always saving the op, though, if you actually do go for it. I think there's a little bit more space in Counter-Strike's economy to be maybe exploring CTs, buying one or two weapons for the purpose of saving, or for the purpose of just getting lucky and having them all come to you and getting a multi-kill.
Yeah, and I've been highlighting the importance of the pistols for Godsent in all of their matchups that we've seen so far in the groups. And I mean, that's not a storyline that's too foreign for a lot of other teams as well. You get some high-level aimers, you get them on a deagle, and all it takes is one flick, and you get either another rifle to work off of, or at least more space for that ult to work around. I could definitely see the merit behind it, the feasibility of saving that weapon into a follow-up round if the gamble doesn't work out.
Yeah,
certainly there.
And it does work out there, so Sprout actually end up winning it. Admittedly, Falvin doesn't get a single kill, and it's actually Diho who gets 4. But hey, there is that too. Always nice to have. I'm sure we'll get a replay of that as well. Yeah, so Diha just has a couple of players pushing into him. He gets a free AK-47. That's actually also very interesting to see. All right, so guys, we are going to have to go to a bit of a short break. Unfortunately, there's some internet issues going on. And with that being said, we'll be back very shortly. Don't worry too much. There's a fantastic stream to watch. It's all about twitch.tv/DreamHackCS2. But make sure you keep checking back in here, because this map is not over just yet. We're just building up hype. We're making you wait, because this is going to be a work of art, a thing of beauty. And that thing is going to be the fact that Godsent have gone for the force buy instead of saving up for one last hurrah. They don't want to let this go to overtime, but you know what? I wouldn't really mind that. And I don't think Michael Yumi Cassidy, who's still somehow on the microphone with me, would mind it either.
Yeah, we have been noticing a trend when we've been casting together. You say my name probably more than your own, so
Yeah,
give yourself your own little plugs tea time.
It seems really weird to say Mamoon tea time Sabri.
It's like, I don't know why. Speaking in the third person now. That's the kind of narrative approach we're taking.
Maybe we need to start off like with a cutesy little, oh, he's Michael Yumikaze, and you say, and he's Mamoon Tea Time Sabri.
Yeah, okay. I don't think we're gonna be doing any sort of stage shows where we need to be doing cute handoffs like that.
Oh, I thought we were gonna stage host together, man.
Okay. I mean, we'll get there someday. But today's that's not right now.
Today it's a stage for the players, and these players have had a long game to get to where they are. Godsent with a couple of fantastic clutches from Stiko, a few good moments from Martin as well, but they need more than minutes. They need themselves a bit of brilliance over here if they want to win this one out. FaZe Clan have shown some signs of weakness, but right now they are all strength. And when I say they're all strength, I mean they all have head armor, which is probably going to be good for them in this round at least.
Yeah, Nika's having a great game as well. He's been that player we highlighted to be this impact initiative player, similar sort of vein for Stiko, but he typically has somebody alongside him to make those big plays. And quite often it can be something that can go punished. I mean, we call back to the big game. You know, we've been referencing that quite a lot throughout this series because that seemed to be the most tumultuous road for either team involved. And if Nico started to have a bit of a poor showing, then that became a bit of a liability for their CT side. We'll see if that maintains form, if he continues his good stead. Brokey, sharp shot in through middle. Farley was trying to make some quick pace towards B short. The same sort of a play that Nico went for, and Godsent accelerate towards B.
coldzera now with the AWP, already in a 5v3, knows he can take this one away, but Cold, he's been forced back just a bit, and he wants to play it safe and let Kirby have the glory as coldzera takes a bullet. Modern finds 2, but that won't really matter. At the end of the day, FaZe take it to 15, and it all comes off the back of the fact that Godsent do not throw their second smoke in time. Brokey shouldn't have had a sight line onto Farley in that position. The smoke that was coming in was supposed to bloom before he's landed, but for some reason they paused before throwing it, and that just leads to a position where Kirby can feel so much more secure in towards jail, because he knows that there's no one coming from short. So, when all said and done, fantastic stuff coming through from FaZe Clan, but some mistakes already made from Godsent. Now it's going to be a faster play towards A. Nico's found one through the smoke. He's just spraying and praying, and Rain does the same, but his prayers are answered with 3 kills and a 16 for FaZe Clan.
Oh my goodness, how quickly that went by after such a long wait, after sitting through the pauses. The internet gets restarted and FaZe Clan accelerate through to the second map. What a performance of lockdown holds on A and B alike. Of course, we have had our fair share of words, but there's, of course, so much to break down for this game because it felt like it was quite back and forth, some crucial clutch moments being won by either side.
I mean, either side also dropped the ball at a lot of different places, but Michael, I'm not qualified for this, am I really? You're probably a bit more qualified than I am, but even so, a few people who are very qualified are waiting on the other side of a break, which we'll go to. We'll be back in just a few minutes with some analysis and some more action for Counter-Strike.